Hello, my name is Mr. G.R. Harden. I thank you guys for tuning in. This is a broadcast that I'm doing on the By His Blood Ministries broadcast, but I'm also representing the Holy Spirit Radio blog talk radio show as well. And we're doing this wonderful broadcast dealing with the upcoming year in 2017 and beyond 2017 as well. And we have titled this broadcast, A Mighty Move of God is on the way. And we have put together, and we're putting together a few lectures that we're going to be doing in the upcoming year um, in 2017 in January. We have not gotten all the dates uh, assigned to us yet, but we're going to be coming to a lot of different places throughout the city of Atlanta, Cobb County, Fulton County, Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, Clayton County, and so forth. Putting on some conferences, and along with myself and a brother by the name of Marcus Meadows and Chase uh, is also is going to be putting these wonderful lectures together, and that we want to really Chase Smith, that we're going to be really trying to rebuild communities throughout the city and then beyond, Macon, South Georgia, as well as Florida and other cities, because we are really about to really see some really serious calamities that are happening throughout this planet, man. And if you're not really mentally prepared for what's to come, then we're going to be in some serious trouble. And so, therefore, we have I have brought in two brothers, actually three brothers, who specialize in different areas, from finances to health to spiritual, and also we're going to be adding some other people. I don't want to mention them just yet until we get their confirmation to really spin this thing, man, into a global, if you will, movement, if you will. And we're so excited to be able to bring it to you guys, man, because it is long overdue that we began to put God ahead of everything for us, and that we're not no longer lagging behind on anything. So many people have gotten so separated from God, and these are the ones that are going to church every day. These are the ones that are in those pews every single Sunday, shouting and praising God, and yet no longer have a relationship with God, because now they have accumulated some type of wealth and some form of finances where they feel that uh, they don't need God at this moment. And what we're trying to do with this mighty move of God, um, that we do call it Family Matters, by the way, is going to be under the umbrella of Family Matters, and we'll tell you more why that is once we begin to start doing these lectures and conferences throughout the city. So some of the things that we will be discussing, dealing with family matters and the mighty move of God. We got to first talk about the presidential election, and what impact does that have on the people of color. And we will discuss the reaction from the people, and and also how um, how this will affect our economy as far as the job market and uh, unemployment. Will we be able to obtain buying homes? You know, I have a real estate personnel that will be there talking about when is the good time or not to buy a home in this upcoming year. So, and also we're going to talk about where we go from here. You know, once all the smoke has cleared, where do we go from here? And what is the solution moving forward? But I also want to talk about the fact that so often as a people of God, man, we spend too much time doing all kind of foolishness of distractions. You got the Pokemon, you got the mannequin. Anytime there's some form of buffoonery, black folks, you always are the headliners. And God told you a long time ago that when I was a child, I did childish things. And now that you're an adult, you put away childish things. And you got people 30, 40, 50 years old sitting there with this mannequin thing and thinking it's funny. And then call themselves a Christian. I'm a child of. What God do you serve? That here you are in a crisis where you are a fourth-class citizen and 1,500 men are missing, 10,000 women are missing, and you got time for fun and games. What a mighty shame that is. So we also going to be talking about building a platform on this lecture. We're going to have some calls, some conference calls. We'll be doing live Google. It's not going to always be at a facility, because again, we're talking about building communities, man. I'm not just talking about in Georgia. I'm talking statewide. This is serious, man. But we're going to have to implement some things and get some things going for this thing to come to its fruition. We just can't have intellect dialogue. I tell you all the time, in Black Wall Street, back in the 1900s, your ancestors, our ancestors, they put their hand to the plow. They didn't just go around talking intellect and agreeing and disagreeing. They made it happen. They created banks, grocery stores, shops, tailoring shops, butcher shops, locksmiths, beauty salons. Madam C.J. Walker created beauty care. They got busy, what I'm trying to tell you. And sometimes when you I hate to say this, but I gotta say this. Sometimes when you have too many educated people in a room, nothing will get done. Because they're going to be too busy and trying to impress themselves on what they know. And then when it's time to put the money on the line, they scatter. That's why I say a mighty move of God is on the way. This will only happen through a mighty move of God, and no longer all this rhetoric, all this CNN, all these educated brothers that are talking, but we don't see anything happening. No longer is there any time for that. I'm here to tell you, those days are over. So we're going to be doing a lot of phone call in. We're going to be doing Facebook Live, so people can get in and chime in and chat on certain things and whatnot. And then when we're able to build this thing, and then we can begin to hit cities and really galvanize, man, and start. I mean, right now there's so many in most urban communities. You wouldn't believe of how much property that they're trying to sell for wholesale. That we can go in there and build a butcher shop, some kind of local grocery. I remember growing up in South Florida, and my grandmother and I would walk to the grocery store. There was no Walmart, no Kroger, Publix. It was black owned, and we'd walk into this brother's grocery store that was a butcher shop as well. And I remember how my grandmother would walk in there, and I'm sitting there. I'm about 6 years old or so, and she orders some meat, whatever she wants, beef or chicken or whatever, and he's preparing that for her, and then she's walking around shopping and buying. And what was so amazing that I remember was the vegetables and fruits. And my grandmother would buy so much vegetables and fruits It was amazing. And what was also amazing that when she prepared dinner, my mother too, you had more vegetables, more green than you had meat. I think a lot of folks forgot about that. You know, a lot of folks going out saying, "Let me get a 20-ounce porterhouse. Let me get a 32 ounce ribeye and a few sprinkles of green here and there." And those days, it was all primarily vegetables and fruits and all those things. All types of potatoes that no longer do you see in the grocery. We got to get back to that, people. Just like they trying to tell you they're going to make America great again, or as I say, make America hate again. There's some things that we're going to have to go back to that worked and just modify them a bit. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about building the wall. Now, I don't want to get too deep into it on this broadcast, but building a wall for your communities. That's the first thing you got to do. In the book of Nehemiah, when he was able to go back and rebuild Judah, first thing he did, he didn't build the homes, he didn't build the stores. The first thing he did was he built a wall of protection from the enemy. And that's the one thing black folks we never do. We get the money and we just ball, as they say, ball out. And not understanding and understanding that you have to build a wall of protection from your enemies. Before you do anything else, you got to create a wall. We got to be watchmen, people, because as soon as we do something collectively, here they come. And especially your own people are the worst ones. That's going to run and tell Mr. Charlie exactly what you're doing. So we're going to organize a team to start building, buying real estate. As I said earlier, barbershops, beauty stores, nail salons, meat markets, all the things that, eye care, place for your eyes, and holistic doctors in the community, hospitals with clinics and what have you within the community, law firms back in the community, realtors back in the community. There was a time when we were at our greatest was when we all lived in the same community. You know that? When you had doctors, lawyers, architects, scientists living on the same block. You had greatness there. And people were moving. You didn't have this over 20 plus million aborted black and brown babies as we do today. People were family. Family mattered back then. Not just your family, but the entire village. Again, growing up, I can ride my bicycle 3-4 blocks away from my home, and them same women on their street, if I was doing something, knew me. Ain't you Trudy, son? What you doing throwing them rocks over there? It was a community, a village. You got to get back to that. They got some major calamities coming now, heading our way. And what they need is chaos and anarchy, confusion, murder, rape, torture, in order to usher in their new world order. So they can come in and the first thing they're going to do is regulate these urban neighborhoods down to the water and the food you drink. They're going to shut it all down. No, you won't be able to go to Kroger no more or to the grocery. They're going to issue out medicated food that dumbs you down. And the ones they could use, they'll keep you around, rape the women, and kill the rest. We're dealing with a diabolical people. One man said that they were like a virus. plaguing this nation because everything they touch, they kill. Anything that has life, their job is to kill it. But their ultimate job is to make you think that there's no God and that they are God. But as we know, it's going to be a mighty move of God. And we have to be in position, man, to be able to receive the power and the might of God to wipe these people off the planet completely. So there's an urgency of us producing our own foods and water distribution. I'm talking about distribution. And there's some things we're going to talk about dealing with that as well. Again, I'm not going to talk about the whole thing in this broadcast because some of this stuff is really top notch, or as the government says, it's top secret. But there's a method to the madness. And we got to be able to be in control of our food and water production and no longer rely on grocers and other people to feed us. How you going to fight a revolution when you can't feed yourself? And then we got to move towards electricity and gas and so forth, and solar energy. We got to develop a platform where we can begin to practice group economics. So vital, man. I saw this thing on Facebook. Someone posted, and it said something. It was pertaining to Muhammad Ali and a statement he made. But he said that back in the 60s and 70s, black folks did everything together. But here now, in the 90s and the new millennium, black folks do everything separately. All these rappers, Drake sang about it was all me. 2 Chainz, I'm doing me. Everybody screaming all by myself, all by myself, which is an ungodly statement coming from anybody in Illinois. Makes no sense. That's not even you can't even say that and then say you know God. Because the God you know is the God that they created for you. Everything we do has always been in a collective manner. Group economics, community involvement, family matters, as I always say. We're also going to talk about creating a corporation to set up a bank account, a trust that we can be able to, again, to begin buying and building, people. Buying and building, buying and, I'm talking again, put your hands on the plow. No longer are we going to sit there and talk about what we need to do and we don't do it. And this movement is not going to be for everybody. Because if you're a doubter, it's not for you. If you're going to doubt, that's what black folks have been doing for 400 years. Doubting and then moving the hell on and trying to do their own thing. Use your discernment. Use your third eye to see if this thing is for you. Also going to have to create a think tank, a group of thinkers who can, from various backgrounds. Again, I'm not knocking education, but they got to be on a various background to really understand and understand the center of where we're trying to go. Again, in the 1900s, these people weren't educated, and they had more wealth back then than we got today with educators. So that tells me something. We're doing something wrong. We're doing something wrong. I know the first thing is we don't know God. We think we do because we go to XYZ, a church, a cathedral, a Baptist church. You don't know no God. You end up playing God. Because if you knew God, you'd be greater. And what did Jesus say when he leave? Greater works than these that you will do than even he did. And we ain't done a damn thing yet. So what I'm saying is, whatever we've been doing, scrap it. Throw it away. It ain't working. We also have to train folks on how to restore their credit and where to put their monies. Also protecting our families from upcoming calamities and financial meltdowns and so forth. We're going to have to go back to the trade and barter way of thinking. I'm telling you, because when and if that dollar, if and when that dollar collapse, and you don't have nothing to trade and barter, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. I assure you. Money won't do you any good. We're also going to teach each other um, on how to love thyself. The Bible talks about that all the time. You got to love yourself, man. Because if you don't know yourself and you don't love yourself, how you gonna love anybody else? How? How can you love yourself and love others, feeling uh, like you have no worth? And this world has manipulated your thought by making you think you're unworthy of anything. When God called you, even before you was in your mother's womb, you have a purpose on this life, in this life. That's why you're here. You might be broke, you might be homeless, you might be living with some folks that are really reminding you every day of the fact that you're living with them. But you got to do like Moses did, like Abraham did, and like all our ancestors back in Kemet. You got to get busy preparing yourself for God's movement, not just sitting around feeling depressed. Join a organization in your neighborhood. Go to the library. There's lots of organizations that you can go to the library and join. You can Google it. Organizations in your city. Mentor a young person if you can. But there's so many things that while you're in this process that you can do to keep yourself alert and ready. Begin reading books, man. Black folk don't read enough books. Wonderful books here I got by Sheikh Anta Diop. The book is called Stolen Legacy, man. It's a wonderful book that I urge you to go out and check this book out. Really, it tells you about your legacy, who you are, and where you came from. Wonderful book, and how your history you've been lied to. What I'm trying to tell you, and that's why I tell you have to go back and teach your children that who they are, and how great they were, and how great God made them, and not allow the public system or even the private or charter schools to sit there and tell them Christopher Columbus discovered America. The devil is a lie. Black folks was already there before he even got there. Thousands of years before he even got there. Another wonderful book is called Culture, the Cultural Unity of Black Africa. And this is a powerful book that I'm going to be speaking out of as well, because it talks about unity, people, in your culture, in your city, in your neighborhood, and how we got to get back to those things, man. The more we fought to be with people, with non-African people, and they finally gave it to us, the far back we got. We got so far back, it's ridiculous. So again, we're going to be doing these conferences coming up, starting in January, probably the first week of January. We're going to come out swinging. And we're going to have a multitude of products and things that we're going to be selling online as well, and in order to gain wealth. And we urge you guys to really support this movement, if you will, because it's serious, man. It's serious. And no longer do you have time just to sit back and just scroll through all these groups that are out there. Shout out to New Era, who's in Chicago and Detroit, doing wonderful, wonderful work, man, in the communities, trying to get these brothers to stop all the killings and shootings and focus on the community itself, the elderly, the young, the women, get themselves back in school, cleaning up these communities, getting the drugs out, slowly but surely. But these guys are doing wonderful things called New Era. Women and men, women and men. And shout out to Baltimore, to the 300 in Baltimore that are doing marvelous work, man. I mean, there are wonderful, wonderful people throughout this nation that are doing this thing, man, and ain't getting paid. But it takes money. It is enough of us that you can donate $5 or $10 to a movement, man, and help this thing move. You don't have a choice. You got to take some of that football money, that basketball money, and donate to one of these causes. Buy a T-shirt, do something. If you're not going to get involved, but do something. Again, mighty move of God. That means you got to move. You just can't sit back and just look and look and look and look and, man, look over there, look over there. And you're not doing a damn thing about it. You got brothers in South Florida that open up a grocery store. A few football players up there in Minnesota, the brother basketball player, I forgot his, George, forgot his first name. He opened up groceries up in Minnesota. He played for the Lakers. I know his last name is George. People are doing wonderful things all over the city, man. In New Orleans, they got a few brothers and athletes that's opened up grocery stores in that area as well. So we get to begin to put our hand on the plow, man, and step up and step our game up. But we got to do it together, man, in unison. Group economics, not individual. Don't get mad because everything you hear, you're not going to agree on. That don't give you, that doesn't make any sense to disagree and then move on. We're human. we all think alike. It's okay. Be respectful. Find the common ground in the derivative and stick with it. Know that this thing is not big, it's bigger than you. It's not about your feelings and all those things, but it's bigger than that. And this is for, as my dear sister Zaza Ali always says, this is for the 5%. Because you got to be a warrior, all out, no matter what. Knowing that at the end of the day, we will complete this mission. In the book again in the book of Nehemiah, they built that wall in 52 days, and they had folks trying to kill them, murder Nehemiah, get him off that wall, distract him, all kind of stuff they had going on. But nothing deterred them one day from continuing to work on the wall. They had a sword in one hand, they had a brick in the other, building that wall, and they completed the wall. And surely, if they can do that in those times, we can do it in these times. Listen, guys, my time is up, and I thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys share this with someone. And really, again, begin on the lookout. You can like the page Family Matters, Facebook page Family Matters, or you can like the page as well, the Holy Spirit's radio show and or the By His Blood Ministries. You can like those page and find out and just be informed on a weekly basis leading up to 2017 of what we're doing and where we are at that time. And we're also asking for donations, man, of any kind. You can donate $1, $2, $5. Doesn't matter what it is, but again, we are kingdom building people. And again, it's going to take money. It's going to take effort. But as long as we stand firm, we know that God is in the center, it's going to happen. Thank you again for tuning in, man, and God bless, and we'll see you soon. Peace.